Hi everyone. Everything you know about the brain is wrong. Okay, let's try that again. Hi everyone. Hi, I'm Ben Thomas, and everything people have been telling you about how your brain works is wrong. It seems like everywhere I go on the internet, I'm seeing the same kinds of misconceptions being repeated over and over and over again, as though they're actual scientific facts. You know, creative people are right-brained and logical people are left-brained. We all have a lizard brain buried inside of our regular brain, or we only use 10% of our brains, or bigger brains mean more intelligence. Eating the brains of young virgins will make you smarter and possibly immortal. You can see how I'm getting really sick of this crap. So I decided to make a little webcam show where you and I spend 5, maybe 10 minutes together, and I make you smarter than all your friends. And I decided I would call this show Debunkalypse. I already showed you that. On today's episode, it's the day after Halloween, which means if you're like me, you're probably at least a little hungover, and you also have way too many sugary things laying around your house. And as we all know, that's only going to get worse as the holiday season continues. This, of course, prompts questions like, should I eat this? Should I unload it on my kids? Or on my friends' kids? Because let's face it, going out in the street and offering candy to random kids, not a thing you can do. And of course, the next question is, will this sugar make me and or the kids who eat it hyper? Is it making my kids hyper? Is it making all the kids at the party hyper? The answer to all of these questions is no. What? Your ignorant acquaintances will say. Of course sugar makes people hyper. Everyone knows that. But you, on the other hand, will know better, because you watch Debunkalypse. The truth is, the whole sugar makes people hyper thing boils down to the placebo effect. It's like giving high school kids a case of non-alcoholic beer so you can watch them act like they think they're drunk. Debunkalypse does not endorse, recommend, or condone the aforementioned activity. How do we know this is true? Well, I'm glad you asked. The experiment that proved this is actually hilariously simple. In fact, it's so simple you can easily try it at home without any danger to anyone. What you do is this. Step 1. Get some fake sugar. Artificial sweetener, something that contains no sugar at all but looks and tastes like sugar. Step 2. Get some real sugar. Make sure it looks and tastes as similar as possible to the fake sugar. Step 3. Let a kid eat some of the fake sugar, but tell them it's real sugar and you're worried it's going to make them hyper. Step 4. After the kids calm down, give them the fake sugar again, but this time tell them it's fake sugar and that it's not going to make them hyper. Steps 5 and 6, repeat the last 2 steps with the real sugar. Again, the first time telling the kid that it's real sugar and is going to make them hyper, the second time telling them it's fake sugar and it won't. And you'll notice something interesting. Much like the high schoolers with the fake beer, again, Debunkalypse does not endorse, recommend, or condone the aforementioned activity. Regardless of whether the sugar is real or fake, if the kid thinks it's going to make them hyper, they'll act hyper. And if they don't, they won't. And if you don't know anyone who's willing to let you try this on their kids, try it on yourself. Put the fake sugar and the real sugar in containers you can't tell apart, but label them on the bottom so you can check afterwards. Mix them up and eat from each of them at random at different times. You'll find that whenever you think you've eaten sugar, you'll feel hyper. And when you don't, you won't. Different teams of researchers all over the world have tried this experiment again and again and again, and they always get the same result. And what's even more interesting is it's also true for kids with ADHD. Even though these kids are naturally hyperactive, sugar doesn't make them any more hyperactive than they already are, unless they've been told that it will. And if you just Google around, you can find lots of research that confirms this. If you want to get a good overview, I recommend a study called Hyperactivity, Is Candy Causal? It takes a lot of different studies that have confirmed this and ties them all together in a neat little package. So there you have it. Sugar doesn't cause hyperactivity, but believing you've eaten something that'll make you hyper, that'll cause hyperactivity. I also want to point out that there are plenty of other good reasons not to eat sugar. Foremost, that your body will store it as fat if you don't burn it off immediately. I also want to take a second to point out that this research is about sugar specifically. It's not about caffeine or Red Bull or Four Loko. Please, for all our sakes, don't experiment on your kids with Four Loko. Do, however, click the subscribe link right down there. And please do not hesitate to call other people out when they claim that sugar is making them, their kids, their friends' kids, or anyone else hyper, because it just isn't true. So until next time, thanks for joining me. I'm Ben Thomas, and this is Debunkalypse!